Hello, it is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for Wellness Astrology, this time for the moon in Cancer. Welcome to the weekend, and it's the Super Bowl weekend. I talked about the Super Bowl before, and I don't know that I don't think it's going to be a good weekend for a Super Bowl because it's a moon in Cancer weekend. Okay, moons in Cancers are dicey AF. But okay, let's see. Yes, I offer individual one-to-one readings. In fact, I highly recommend them because yes, you can watch my videos and I appreciate you watching my videos, but if you really want to know how this astrology is affecting you individually, best bet is to get an individual reading. Links are in the description box below. Secondly, I'm about to try some new stuff. So if you want to speed me up or any other YouTube person, you can come up here to the top right hand corner. If you're using a screen reader, it's probably called the more options button. But there's a little gear dude. And if you click on that, it'll bring up a little menu. And in that menu is playback speed. It says normal, click on normal, and then it'll give you options for slowing it down or speeding it up. I listen to most people on 1.25. So I listen to books on more like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, depending on the narrator. Anyway, so there you go. All right, done all that. And then, of course, like I said, links to work with me one-to-one, wellness astrology, sun, moon, rising. I did bring back the full chart reading if you're interested in that. And then the AstroGoals. If you are interested in inquiring about astro coaching, or if you just want a one-off, like tell me about this random thing in my chart that I don't understand. That is available for you. So, okay, this moon in Cancer, let me do something here. Hang on. All right, this is the chart we're dealing with. I set this particularly for Sunday around 1:30 in the afternoon Central Time. Of course, this is an Aries rising chart, just so that I don't have to deal with what location are you at and what will be the rising sign at that time. But this is right when the moon squares Mars, or the moon conjuncts Mars or meets up with Mars in Cancer, and it's going to be in a square to Chiron. So we have that going on. You can see by the yellow line there. We also have um, the Mercury Cazimi having just peaked, and we have the Saturn, North Node, Neptune situation in Pisces. So, okay, here's what I'm feeling about all of this. Oh, and that Cazimi is in a square to Uranus. Okay, so moon in Cancer is nurturing, nourishment, it's home, whether that is the home being the house that you live in, the roof over your head, or the home being your physical body. The moon does rule the physical body. So you want to be nourishing. This is why I think Super Bowl Sunday landing with a moon in Cancer, then it's building to a full moon in Leo, and people are about to indulge and or overindulge on food and beverage. You do you, boo, but I mean, really be cognizant that Mars retrograde can increase inflammation and whatnot. And so with a Mercury Cazimi, things could be a little amplified. So yeah, you do you, but I mean, just be careful. Maybe take a little extra caution. Maybe if you're going to indulge, perhaps it's an opportunity to partake in some turmeric, or ginger, to kind of move the inflammatory foods through, or nutrition or whatever, through your system. And so inflammation could be a thing. Okay. And then this Mars square Chiron. Chiron is still at 19 degrees Aries, the same degree point as it's been for the last 2 months, and the same degree point as the April 8th solar eclipse. And so we're still dealing with some wounds being dug up from that solar eclipse in Aries back on April 8th, 2024. And I also feel like this is why people seem like they are kicking and screaming and throwing tantrums. Because with the Mercury Cazimi and the planet pileup in or stellium that's happening in Pisces, while Venus has left Pisces and moved on to Aries, Mercury will be there shortly. And we're not done with Piscean energy, obviously, since Pisces is the next season. But my point here is to say that you are being presented with an opportunity to let an old version of you go, whether that includes behaviors, habits, friendships, work, a job, a location where you maybe lived your entire life. You've got this opportunity to let it go and have a whole new something open up for you. And I feel like a lot of people are throwing down the gauntlet, connecting themselves to a ball and chain, as they say. And oddly enough, Pisces is rules things like institutions, prisons, things like that. And so, like, are you um consciously or subconsciously imprisoning yourself into staying in your own old way of being, in your old world, right? In your old version, because you are too afraid to move forward with something else. Now, that being said, we do have eclipses coming up in March that could really make or break situations. Quite frankly, I think this Leo full moon is going to shed a lot of light as to how these situations may play out. But as we're in this moon in Cancer, like this, you don't have to wait till the full moon to let shit go. You can do it anytime. But that Mercury Cazimi square Uranus. So Mercury is the traditional ruler of astrology. Uranus is the modern ruler of astrology. Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. And so Mercury is in his superior Cazimi to the sun, meaning it's his post retrograde Cazimi from the retrograde back in November. So maybe something that, that you experienced during that retrograde in November is now coming up again, because you get like the epiphany or the aha moment, from whatever transpired during that, because during that retrograde. It's squaring Uranus though, in Uranus's home sign. This okay, here's the thing. A little tough love here. Are you sure you know what you're fighting for? Are you fighting to hold on to a job? Are you fighting to hold on to a friendship? Are you fighting to hold on to the world as you know it that is collapsing? And amidst you fighting a battle that you may or may not win, you're denying yourself an opportunity to access or to see or utilize the gifts and the skills that you have, or that you're being shown, but you're not taking the time, giving the space for yourself to see those gifts, because you're busy fighting a battle to hold on to, throwing your temper tantrum, connecting yourself to the ball and chain, to really, you're keeping yourself so in shackles so that you don't have to access or see or understand or open yourself up to the new version of you that is desperately trying to emerge. The shedding of the snakeskin. We are in the year of the wood snake in the Chinese zodiac. And so I feel like this Mars square Chiron is everybody throwing their temper tantrum. Mars is also trining Saturn in that situation. Yep. There's also Mars trine Saturn. And it you've got an opportunity to really listen to the sky. The Mercury, that looks like a really bad line, but that's okay. Um, there we go. It's this opportunity to really tune into what spirit, your higher self, your guides, your angel team, whatever you refer to it as, God, source, universe, is trying to show you. Now, the thing about your spiritual gifts is they will never be forced upon you. They'll just kind of be the quiet voice in the back of your head because your ego is loud and rambunctious and annoying. But I feel like as we move into this full moon in Leo coming up in a couple of days here, how long are you going to keep sitting in your stew of hot shit? How long are you going to keep fighting battles that maybe aren't necessarily your battles to fight? There's empathy and there's compassion, but there's also like understanding that we don't know everything right now. We can't possibly. There's one, too much information coming out in every which direction, and two, it's hard to sift through it all because there's too much water, right, to decipher what really is going on. So I feel like it's kind of like one of those, like, we're going to learn what we need to learn in due time. And to transform, things need to unravel and come apart. It's like with a ball of yarn or a roll of Christmas lights or a rope or the knot in your drawstring on your sweatshirt or, sweatpants or whatever, right? It gets knotted up and you've got to take the time to untangle it, right? That's where we are right now. Things have to be untangled. So we're not going to know because, like, look, if you've ever untangled a ball of yarn, you're like, okay, that knot's coming from here. And then you get into it and you realize that that knot is actually deeper down into the skein of yarn than you thought. And you're like, son of a bitch, there's a bigger knot here. And that's what's happening in the world is they're untangling things. And as they untangle things, more things come up that need to be untangled. And it's a mess. And it's 250 years of a freaking mess. Okay. But my question here is, what are you nurturing? And is what you are nurturing in support of your physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies? Is it good for your nervous system? Are you perpetually pissed? Are you perpetually grounded, or are you perpetually anxious? Because those are questions to ask yourself. Because if you are perpetually angry and perpetually anxious versus perpetually at peace and perpetually calm and grounded, you may not be fighting the battle you think you're fighting. Feel into your system. That's what this moon in Cancer is. Feel into your body. Yes, you may want to, on an egoic level, fight the battle for this group or that group of peoples. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying evaluate for yourself what this actually is for you. Because what is fighting that battle keeping you from addressing within yourself? Or are you just pissed because your group of people told you should be pissed? It's a really good moment to take stock ahead of this full moon coming up in a couple of days. So, all right. Okay. So with that, we'll see what's up with the tarot. I personally have been sitting in my own funk this week because there are things that I want to be up to and I want to be doing, and I don't know how to move forward right now. And I'm getting nothing, no guidance, no direction. I mean, you guys have known me. If you've known me for a while, you know I'm a blind nomad. And when I was a nomad, it was like, okay, I'm going to go where I'm guided to go. But right now I'm getting no guidance. And I'm like, shit, am I still going to be here? I don't want to be here in this geographic location anymore. I want to move forward. But I also feel like once I know, I'm a no and I'm going to go. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, you want to quit your job, but you can't quit your job until you have another job because you need the paycheck to pay the bills. Like, you get that? And so I kind of feel like it's like, but once you have the job, you're like, boom, done, back to this job. You know what I'm saying? Like you're able to like move on. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Like I don't know, but I feel like I'm gonna find out and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, going here now. So there's a level of patience here for all of us to really be with what we may be receiving message wise. Okay, we got the page of Latinum upright. Um, yeah, I mean, this is like reevaluating or like distinguishing or discerning like what I mean, this could be like earthly possessions, material possessions, money, that sort of thing. We've certainly got a lot of information coming out about where money's been going. And you may not like it. You may not like what's happening. And that's okay. But we still as like people, we deserve to know where our money's going. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to discern where your money is going. Are you paying for streaming services or are you paying for um a subscription that you don't need to pay for anymore? So this is, that Uranus direct in Taurus, it's a good opportunity to pay attention where, what material stuff you have. That South Node in Virgo additionally is an opportunity to be attentive. I know a lot of people that are getting rid of stuff right now. Um, yeah, the hanged man. Uh-huh. You're hanging yourself. Yep, Barkley, Lieutenant Barkley. You're hanging yourself. You're putting yourself in the noose and you're hanging yourself because you're kicking and screaming, you're throwing your tantrum, you're not allowing the opportunities to come through for you. You'd rather hold on to the old pile of stewing, hot, bubbling shit than to let go. Like, when are you going to stop telling the childhood trauma story? When are you going to stop telling the same old stories with new people every time you meet them? You're hanging yourself. You're keeping yourself connected to the ball and chain. You're keeping yourself imprisoned. And it's funny that this is I guess it's not funny, but it is comical a little bit to me, amusing to me that the background on this card is Barkley in the holodeck with the grid light pattern on it. Like there's no actual hollow imaging going on. He's just in a blank holodeck, which is just a box room, right? With the grid lights. So, like, he's in his own prison, right? And remember the episode where he was like the supercomputer and like he was imprisoned by it. So, wow, there's some stuff to think about there. I'm gonna let y'all stew on that a little bit. Let's see what's up with the dark magic. Magick. Um, yes, I knocked twice on the decks to clear the energy. Let's see what we got here. Ghosts. Commune with your guides. Yeah. Turn off the goddamn external noise, please. Stop listening to the news, stop listening to all of the commentary, and really start tuning into the guidance that you're being given by your guides. There's so much trying to come through for you. But here's the thing about guidance and spiritual gifts, psychic senses, all of those things. They won't force themselves, but they will make their presence known, right? And there are some that are more sensitive to their presence being known than others. And something that I notice is that a lot of us in many capacities shut off our senses, where whether you wear earbuds and wear your hood up. I mean, I used to do that all the time when I'd walk outside. I'd have my earbuds on and my hood up, and I didn't care. And now all of a sudden, when I started to go through a lot of spiritual stuff, it was like I stopped listening to music or a podcast while I was outside walking. I started to really tune in to nature and the birds and the critters and the wind through the trees and all of that kind of thing, and really just started to tune into what was going on. So if you are somebody, you could be cutting your senses off for whatever reason. And the question to ask yourself is, number one, why do you do that? What are you afraid of? And number two, if you don't understand what your experience is, what experience you're having, that's an opportunity to get support around what that is, whether that's from me or some other spiritual practitioner that can help you understand. Because when my senses are online, like, because mine aren't consistently online, I don't think they probably are, and I just don't notice it. Honestly, I'm not as well in tune to them as I probably could be. They can be exhausting. It can be exhausting to be around other people at times when I'm like extra sensitive. So anyway, all right, guys, take good care of yourselves. Be conscious about your surroundings this weekend. I don't want to say don't, enjoy the game, but do it responsibly and all that. There's something about this game. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just feels weird because it's in New Orleans, and there was already a weird thing in New Orleans earlier this year. Actually, there's been a couple weird things in New Orleans this year. So anyway, good luck. Have fun. Be responsible. Take good care of yourself. Talk to you next time.